welcome to your 6-month tarot reading. We are going to dive into the energies of the next 6 months, particularly because it is a very significant time frame for each of us. Okay. So before we dive into it, I do want to, first of all, thank each one of you who have subscribed. I've reached over 100 subscribers. My channel's new, so every one of you that are appreciating this content, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, those of you who have not yet subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell. Also, remember to like the video and make comments. Leave comments. I'd love to hear from you and get to know those of you who are interested in what I'm bringing forward. So, thank you again. Um, Next, I would like to just let each one of you know that this intro will be in every one of your readings, okay? Because I do not want to potentially miss something, as this information is so important. By repeating it 12 times, that can get kind of redundant, first of all. And secondly, as it goes on, I may end up forgetting a piece or two. So we don't want that to happen. So typically I give each one of you your own special time in the beginning. But at this point, let's go ahead and just be all on one page, because even though it's going to impact us differently, and that's why you'll each have a reading, right? But the energies are affecting all of us. Okay. So the reason this is so significant is because Chiron has just gone into retrograde. Now, every one of us has a Chiron placement in our chart, in our natal chart. Oh, I should also say, I am not an astrologer. Okay. I am not. I am a tarot reader, but I am very sensitive to current energies. Okay. And when I feel the planet shifting, when I feel something significant, like I did this last December when Chiron went direct, I felt very impacted on looking at the Chiron wound. And many of you may be feeling very impacted by this Chiron retrograde. Okay. Um, and you may have been really dealing with your Chiron wound as of last December. It may have flared up for you also. So what is the Chiron wound? What am I talking about? So if you're not familiar, the Chiron wound is a wound that you would have had since birth, okay? And it will have impacted you throughout your entire life. Now, let's dive into Chiron's story, because we'll need to make some parallels here so that it really gives you the depth of what's going on. So, Chiron was conceived in in a rape condition. Okay, so his mother was, okay? So what happened is, let's do this. Let's really chat. All right. So what happened was Saturn came to Earth to see his son Zeus, or Jupiter, and he fell in love, or was taken back, very much interested in a water nymph. And he pursued her, and she just continued to not be interested in him and escaping him. So she comes to Zeus, or Jupiter, and asks him to turn her into a horse, a mare, so that she can get away from Saturn. And so he does. Well, Saturn finds out, and he turns himself into a stallion, and he meets up with her, and they produce a child. So when it's time for her to give birth, she goes up into the mountains and she births this child. And because they had been horses at the time, she gave birth to a half human, half boy, and half horse, half stallion. Okay. So she was mortified at this. She was embarrassed. She did not want to raise this child. So she abandoned him in a field. And she went back to Zeus and asked him to turn her into a tree. And he did. So that's mom. Mom's out of the picture. But you can see where he was conceived in a trauma, and then at birth, he had a trauma. This is where it begins to parallel our lives, okay? Because you will have this in your chart. This wound has been placed there, and you chose this at a soul level of what you wanted to really be an impact. Now, where this is really great is Chiron is also known as the wounded healer. So a shepherd found him in the field and takes him to the temple of Apollo. And Apollo and his sister Athena, Artemis. I am so sorry, you guys. I want to say Athena, but it could have been Artemis. Okay. So whoever is Apollo's sister. Okay. So they raised him and gave him an elite education. He learned prophetic abilities. He learned the healing arts and medicine. He learned art itself and the beauty of art. And he learned the ways of a noble warrior, where fighting is the last option when it comes to war. Okay. And he taught a lot of gods and heroes, which are demigods. He taught a lot of them throughout history and or Greek mythology. Okay. So he taught a lot of them. Later, he ended up sustaining his own physical wound. Okay, he was in battle with Hercules. They were on the same team. Hercules had an arrow that was had been dipped in poison made by a god, and had shot his target, and it went through the target and hit Chiron in either the thigh or the knee, depending on which story you're looking at. So he was wounded, and because he is a demigod, um, he could not die, and because it was a poison that was created by a god, he could not heal it. So he asked for his immortality to be taken from him so that he could die from this wound. And so he did. Now there's another part of the story where it branches off, and he sends Hercules to free Prometheus, which, I mean, it kind of pertains because Prometheus is Aquarius energy, but we're not going to go into that. We could, but not today. Not today. Okay, so we all know that Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and Pluto is helping us to mine. Oh, it does. Ah, sorry, that's why it's coming up. Okay, see, this is why I didn't want to repeat it 12 times. Okay, so Prometheus is the energy is some of Aquarius. Okay, Prometheus had stole the fire back for man because he, according to Greek mythology, he created man, so he was aligned not with the god Zeus, who took the fire as punishment from man. He went actually to Apollo and got the fire back from the sun and gave it back to man. Okay, so and then Zeus had him apprehended and chained him to a pillar, and had an eagle come and eat out his liver every day, repeatedly, for forever, for eternity, or until a hero demigod came and rescued him or saved him. And so when Chiron, and I'm not sure exactly how it takes his immortality away, but it does. When he sends Hercules to free Prometheus, because we know Hercules is a demigod, he's a hero. When he frees him, Chiron is able to then be mortal now. Okay, and so he goes and he lives with the other centaurs, which were brutes. They come from a very different lineage, a dark lineage, and they were just kind of beasts. They were unruly. They obeyed no law, right? And they had their way. They would terrorize villages and had their way with women, drank too much, just kind of did their own thing at their own will. Well, Chiron went and lived with them for 700 years, and he was able to teach them all of the things that he had learned with his education with gods, and help to civilize these centaurs. And now we all, in just broad strokes of mythology, if you're not going too deep into it, you can see where centaurs are actually noble creatures in many depictions. Okay, so this is how they got there, was Chiron. Okay, so how does this affect you? Well, your Chiron wound connects directly with your purpose. And we know Chiron's in Aries. We know that our North Node currently is in Aries. Okay. And as of last year's, is it last year's or this or both? I'm not sure. Anyway, as of the eclipse of it was the eclipse that had to do with Aries and Libra. Okay, which is where the north and south nodes are. It opens up this portal for us to be able to heal it. Okay. Especially when Chiron, that was this last spring. Okay. Chiron went direct last December. Now he's retrograde again. Okay. And in his retrograde, he's retrograding with Pluto. That's why it was important for me to mention Aquarius energy, because Pluto is in Aquarius. Now, just like Prometheus or Aquarius, has stolen the fire because he was back for man, because he was aligned to his creation. He was aligned to his own purpose, and not disobeying some godhead. That's what Aquarius is asking each one of us to do, is to be able to step into our authentic self and align ourselves with our own purpose, our own creations, the creation of your own life. Now, what does Pluto have to do with it? So Pluto is Hades. Okay. Pluto is, and the reason why they have two names is, if you don't know, is that Greek mythology, they have one name, and Roman mythology was derived from Greek mythology, is what all the planets are named after, is the Roman god names. Okay. So they're the same people. So, all right. So now, but their stories are just, they're extended stories with the Roman mythology. Okay. So let's go back to Aquarius here. And this Aquarius energy now we know that Pluto went into Aquarius, right? As of earlier this year, finally went, to stay there for a period of time. I think it's doing, when a retrograde, it does touch back into Capricorn for just a moment. But when it does go retrograde, as Pluto retrogrades, it is going to create a conjunction with Chiron. And Pluto, like I said, is Hades, which is your own personal underworld. Now, that can sound a little bit scary, going into your own personal hell, right? And we can all agree that the wound that we've carried with our own life has been our own personal hell. Well, the beauty of Pluto is that Pluto mines the wealth that is under the surface. Okay. So if Pluto is helping, so they're going to go conjunct in like the same degree, like 21 degrees, 20 degrees, and 19 degrees, when they are doing this dance together, Pluto and Chiron. So as Chiron's in retrograde and as Pluto's in retrograde, and they're going to be, like I said, doing this, Pluto's going to help you get underneath everything and help you to recognize where all of the skills, all of the talents, all of the things that you personally have been able to cultivate from a wounded state, just like Chiron did when he received his education. So, and retrograde Chiron's going to help you take a look, revisit that wound, but it's going to be in a very beautiful, harmonious way to help you release it once and for all, to align you with your purpose. Okay. This is your Chiron, the wounded healer. As you, as you heal that wound, it becomes your biggest medicine. Your biggest wound throughout your life becomes your biggest medicine, and becomes prevalent within achieving your own personal purpose, your own personal destiny, which is promise that you made to yourself when you chose to come into this lifetime. So you can see how all these things are working together, and the stories really parallel what's going on with your life. Now, as I've done a little bit of research, I have discovered that the Chiron wound can often be connected to the mother wound. So, looking at where your moon is in your chart, the mother wound, by looking at the moon in your chart. Now, why the moon? Because the moon does represent mother figure, the maternal aspects within each of us, the mother figures that we have had in our life, you as a mother figure to other people, whatever that looks like for you. But this wound, this Chiron wound, may have something to do with wounds that your own mother had. You may have gotten this in utero, which can be often called like karmic or ancestral wounds, right? But you'll notice as you take a look at the things that have been really activated over this last 7 months, especially, um, may have something to do with what your mother dealt with and you have been perpetuating in your own life. Okay. Now, what's really interesting, when I said it's a beautiful, harmonious, take a look at it, not to scare you, not to fear this healing, but in a way that's actually going to move, because Venus is helping us out, and Venus knows what your desire is. And your desire is to feel fulfilled and purposeful in your life in your own unique way. Again, touching back to that Aquarius energy, right? You being unique, being yourself. It's sort of like rebellion energy of like, I don't need a godhead or some system telling me what I need to do. I need to be listening to my own inner guidance. Now, Venus is at the tail end of Leo. We're about to have a new moon in Leo on the 4th of August. Huge, huge part of this story. Why? Because like I said, Venus is helping you to achieve what is the most desired for you. Venus also rules Libra, which is the South Node. South Node has been working on taking you out of your comfort zones in order to achieve your destiny. And so, but Venus is also connected to the ruling planet of your um your money and your love. Okay, Venus rules both. So when we are in love with our life, when we are in harmony with our own purpose, okay, how where we feel the spark of life, where we feel the spark of joy, where we feel satisfied in our life, it is always easier to become financially, more well off and be be more open to love and loving relationships in our life. Okay. So we have this huge love element that is supporting this final healing of our wound. Now, typically, somebody would have to wait 50 years for Chiron to orbit and have a return in our life. It returns every 50 years. So, usually only once in a lifetime. But you may not be 50. Yeah, chances are most of you are not 50 years old watching this video. Some of you may be right around there, but we're able to really allow this wound to become our greatest medicine, our greatest purpose because of this retrograde and with Pluto and this final release of it, and not have to wait until that space and time when we are right around 50 years old. So this is miraculous. This is huge. This is a really big deal. So, what I want to do is I want to dive into the tarot with each one of you and find out what that overlighting energy looks like for you. So you may or may not be familiar with your natal chart. A lot of people don't have the information of what time they were born, so that makes it difficult to get a full picture of your natal chart. So let's rely on another tool to find out what is going to be activated within you in order to create this different storyline. You literally are able to rewrite the story of your life and make a huge quantum leap and shift upwards towards the things that you have desired for yourself. Okay. So let's find out which with each sign. I would like for you to, if you're interested, look at, oh, I'm so sorry. See? Again, glad I didn't do this 12 times. With Venus being in Leo, Leo, the sun, right? Okay, Leo the Leo sign is the sun. We're looking at father figure and your external external material world. You and the external, I'm saying that right? You and your external world, okay? So now you could be looking at, so what we have the opportunity here for, again, is now not only healing a wound that had been created within our mother relationship, we also have the ability to heal a wound within our father relationship, because father figure, and you in your external world. Okay. So whatever that looks like for you, we all have these feminine and masculine energies within us. Every one of us does. Every one of us has some sort of a relationship, whether they were involved in our life or not, with mother figures, either how you have been that for other people, how other people have been that for you. And now it is time for us to be able to do that for ourselves. Again, we are rising to be independent, okay, but have interdependent relationships because, again, Pluto and Aquarius setting the tone for this generation is all about each one of us being able to self resource, for us to be able to soothe ourselves and give ourselves what we need in order to be strong, the strength within the collective. Okay. We're not leaning on external information. We're not leaning on other people to give us our answers, to give us our validation. We are able to now self resource what we need by healing these wounds once and for all, and being able to show up in a very authentic way, strong, and be able to have harmonious relationships with those who we are working with, those who we are engaging with in our own personal life. Okay. So again, this is a very significant next 6 months, and it is going to be much easier for you to be able to release than you probably suspected. So along with looking at the overlighting energies for each one of you in your sign, I will also pull cards, a card or cards, and usually ends up being cards, right? Cards for the final outcome. What will the final outcome at the end of this 6 months, or as this energy purges from your field, what will that look like for you? What is that final outcome? And I'm sure it's going to be significant for each one of us. So I hope that was helpful and not confusing, to be able to draw those parallels from the mythology, which really explains, personifies explaining, um, energies. That's what the mythology does, is it gives us some insight to, the energies through personifying or having people or gods. Are not really, I guess a person, right? A person being able to hold the energies. So again, let's not continue going on here. Again, I hope that was very helpful. Let's go ahead and dive into the cards for each one of you. One more thing. Okay, one more thing. Um, so I have started to say I wanted you guys to watch for your sun, because that is going to be your uh like I said, father figure, father in masculine energy in you and your external world and your purpose. Okay. This is very connected to what propels you forward, what keeps you moving in this life. Okay. Watch for your rising if you have that information, and that is going to be your whole self. Okay. And watch for your moon, because that again is your mother figure, but also the inner workings of you, how your mind works, how you think about things, the things that you eat, and taking in your home. So think inward for your moon. Okay, that's what that is. It's what's going on that everybody isn't necessarily seeing. What's going on inside of you, how you process things is going to be your moon. It's also a really great idea for you to watch for your Venus as well, because Venus is an active part of this, right? And Venus is your like love and money. And she, but a lot of times people will watch their Venus for not only money, but for how people attract to them, what type of people they attract, that kind of thing. So you can, take the information and apply it to which one of these areas of your life or your chart, if you do have that information. Also, if you are interested in not having to wait for the content to be released throughout the week, to be able to get all of these, please join my Patreon community, and you will have access to all of the videos on Mondays. And you won't have to wait to watch for each one of those placements in your life. Or if you're wanting to cross watch for somebody who is significant for you, that's always very helpful for navigating your life as well. So, okay, now let's begin. Okay, Aquarius, let's dive into the rewrite for your life. What is going on with this storyline that has not been working out for you? And where's it going to get a whole lot better as it dissipates? Let's go ahead and pull from this. Sorry about that. Okay, we're pulling from the gold foil deck initially. I'm asking for 3 cards here for you. There's ideas, Venus in a water sign. Okay, ideas, potentials, possibilities, nostalgia, somebody from your past, or a very significant relationship, strong home environment. This is about, yeah, strong home environment. And then where you have worked too hard, the work is done. Now it's time to lay down the burdens. Okay, so that's our starting point. And we are going to now turn to the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms and get clarifiers for each one of these 3 cards. Okay. So for our 7 of Cups, which is meant to be inspiring, inspiration from Venus about what's possible for your life, all these potentials. Let's go ahead and clarify that. King of Swords. Oh my God. Okay, so you being you and your practical nature, overthinking everything, is saying like, are you you're are you overanalyzing these potentials, or are you not using your imagination to the best of your ability? Okay, because you are thinking too practically. That's what I'd like to know. All right, give us one more card for the 7 of Cups, please. One more clarifier. We have the Two of Pentacles. Okay. So balancing something out. And all right, that just tells me that what you're looking to do here is balance imagination with knowledge. Okay. Imagination, what your heart desires, what their potentials are with knowledge. It's balancing act. Okay. Beautiful. Nine of Cups. I love that with the Six of Cups, the Nine of Cups. Beautiful home protection, everything that you want comes from this nostalgic. Yeah, I think either you're aligning with someone from your past, you're aligning with a very significant relationship, you're aligning with what your heart has desired. It's in terms of a home life, since you were a child, and you're aligned with it. Okay. The Emperor, authority, 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 masculine authority. Justice. Now, is this where you? Mm, let me get one more. Let me get one more. That's a contract, or again, heart's desire. A Ten of Pentacles. All right. Okay. So because you know exactly what you want at this point, and you are using a balance between and balancing act between what you intuitively desire for yourself, what imagination is showing you as possible, because if you can imagine it, you can have it. And there's something about that that you intuitively know, you get, okay? And you are I think that you're basing your knowledge on that, and you are also using that to inform you. Does that make sense? It's kind of this back and forth. Like that it's imagination, and because you have imagination, it's giving you knowledge. Okay, this balancing act between the two. All right. So, and that may be in the wound. That may have been the wound. As simple as that. Like, is this true or did I make this up? Is this true? Where can I find this in a textbook? Where can I find the proof of this? Versus this just being an idea of some fantasy that somebody made up. That could have literally been the wound, okay? But it doesn't feel like it now. Now it feels like you're balancing the two, okay? And you are drawing off of this relationship or the idea of this relationship to calm yourself and align with what you want, putting you in a position of authority. Now, this authority that you have achieved for yourself, okay? And this doesn't mean power. An out of balance emperor can mean that it's power over people. But I don't feel this at all for you. Especially next to Nine of Cups. I don't feel like you are using other people to gain what you want. I think that you are drawing off of responsible power within inside yourself in order to align energetically. This is aligned energetically, emotionally aligned with what you want to commit yourself to. And the Ten of Pentacles says that it is a connection with a lover that expands my life abundantly, wisely, and prosperously. That's significant. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, that's what you're committed yourself to. Flip, flip, flip. So Venus is here and Venus is here doing you are doing some marvelous work with Venus. I mean, you are just basing your knowledge off of what she's telling you in your mind's eye. The lovers, okay? That's what she's telling you. She's telling you that you potentially have this relationship that you have always wanted. Okay. And we've seen that all over the place for you, Aquarius, haven't we? Your mind is telling you, and this is not just your mind. When you have imagination that feels really good, that's your higher self talking to you. That's your higher self showing you what's possible. And it's showing you it's possible for you to have this relationship again that you have always desired. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some more information. Tell us some more about this. You know what? I keep getting this one here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Okay. So Knight of Wands is not necessarily the energy that you really want to see when it comes to a connection with a love partner. This is very adventurous. Either the two of you are wildly adventurous together, in possibly behind the scenes, right? Or going out into the world to discover things out into the world. So it's not as committed as the Justice card is. We want to see the Justice, the lovers committed, right? In this marriage, this relationship. But you are very firm in what you know. And even though it's creating this conflict inside of you of adventure versus what, commitment? Let's keep going. This conflicts. Now, conflicts are always give us the opportunity for a liberation as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some. Come on, Aquarius. This is being very, very stubborn, isn't it? Is this lover of yours very stubborn? I mean, that's what it's feeling like, this lover. And you're like, no, I know what I want. That's what this seems like to me. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So, um, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Okay, you're not having it. Your lover may be stubborn, okay, and it may be like some conflict, all right. And I don't feel like that you are having power over them in an unhealthy way. Again, the Emperor can represent that, but that's not what I'm feeling. Not with this beautiful cups. Not with these beautiful cups energy. I think that you literally know it deep inside of you, deep inside. Everything inside of you is telling you that this relationship, you can take the weight off of your shoulders. And it is exactly where you and your partner, these lovers, come together and prosper in life in every way. Okay. That's what you're committed to. I mean, there is no there is no fighting around that. Like, you know what I mean? There's no wiggling out of that. Like, that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. What else does Spirit want to say to you, Aquarius, in regards to this? Let me go ahead and, I mean, you are 1000% committed to the type of relationship that you are going to have. And we all know that, or maybe, if you're paying attention to astrology, that Aquarius have the ability to, really have the ability to connect with a soulmate, over this next year. So I think that you know exactly what type of relationship you want. You are not going to settle for anything less. And lovers, this is the Two of Cups. This is strategy, around, around marriage. Okay. Okay. But also this is okay. Now, especially since we had the Hierophant and the Justice card here, we're literally talking about marriage. Okay. I mean, it's pretty, or just so committed that it's like a marriage. Okay, but here's this card in the middle. This card is where the healing comes from. Okay. The healing here has not only been around you being able to balance knowledge and intuition or imagination. It has also been binding yourself. This is so very Aquarian, right? Like that you this could be a real wound where you have bound yourself to a traditional way of doing things, or you had been taught that you ought to go about it in a traditional way. And you are not, again, so Aquarius, you are not about to do that. You are like, I'm out. I am not. This is where you had been taught everything that you needed to know about how to engage in whatever it is you're engaging with. Okay. Particularly in a war in this card, but that's not where we're at. We're in life. Okay. And life can feel like war. but but what you do is you take that knowledge and you decide to go do something different with it. You get out of there and you're like, I am not bound to the way that I have been taught to do this. There's a little bit of rambunctious energy in here, but it is not swaying you. It is not swaying you. You have decided that you are going to go about this in a non-traditional way. to pursue and connect with the person that you are meant to connect with. Okay. So the what you're healing is the balance between imagination and knowledge and what you have been traditionally taught how to go about this. Okay. And then here is fresh information about the pentacles, about your physical life and money and physical life. Okay. Material life. And this is from turbulent emotional times to peaceful. So the information that you are about to receive creates an enormous amount of peace. You can move forward freely in peace. Okay. So I think that has to do with this rambunctious energy here. Okay. And, and I think that maybe it's about the other person recognizing that they don't have to go about it the same way either. And maybe they convey that to you. Maybe that's what this fresh information is about. What I'm going to do is go ahead and go back to the gold foil, and I'm going to ask for some cards that are about um are like final outcome. Okay. So we have decisions to make. All right. And just very independent. You have to be extremely independent in your decisions that you're going to make. Okay. This is literally where you're stepping away. Again, this is the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. You have to liberate yourself from yeah, the a way that you have others have said to go about this, the way that others would have um advised you, from the crowd, the mob mentality. So what is it that you need to see with those Two of Swords? What is it that you're about to see with those Two of Swords for your final outcome, result of healing these wounds? Okay. That's okay. Yeah, that there is another person here. Hmm, just a moment before I go any further with that other person. Okay. Oh, I love this. Okay. Judgment and temperance. Okay. So I feel like there is maybe not necessarily another person. Can't I can't say that 100%. There's another person that information is going to come from. Okay. You're going to receive information from somebody else that is very helpful in helping you become balanced. Okay. And understanding how all of this, everything that you're experiencing, everything that you're going for is literally aligning you with your purpose and helping you to be able to balance your emotions, to be able to receive receive okay. So let's talk about temperance. This is what I'm trying to convey here. So temperance is where you're not pushing and forcing anything. This is where you're emotionally stable and you allow your emotions to be able to guide your actions, and your actions then are blessed, actions that support your life, and you gain in success is comes from that. Okay. This path that you're on is meant to be extremely successful, but you've got to be able to listen to the subtle cues, because this subtle cues is this goes right back to this right here, this wound. Okay. So you, this is Aquarius, right? And this is where you're independent in your thinking. And then somebody else brings information to help you see how all of this has been aligned for your purpose, to help you be able to heal this balance right there. Okay. That is going to be the biggest medicine of your life, is being able to not force anything, but receive intuition, not just book smart, not just, the material world informing you, but source informing you, to be able to bless your life, balance yourself out, and achieve your greatest success, which is this relationship that you desire. Okay. But you have to be able to relax yourself and calm yourself to be able to listen to those subtle cues. Okay. And this is your outcome. This is the outcome that you will receive. This is the outcome that you will receive, is because you're willing to relax let go, and receive the knowledge that is coming from your higher self. Okay. Spirit is directing you. And I'm sure that that's not easy, but you're learning. That's what this two here is. This two of pentacles to say you're learning how to do this. And it may feel a little wonky. Okay. It might feel a little bit wonky, but I promise you, it will bring you exactly what you need and exactly what you want to break away from traditional way of doing things, to carve your own life of independence. Okay. And very fulfilling life. And this relationship is going to be extremely, extremely beneficial for you, very auspicious. Like you are going to just have the greatest time of your life in this relationship, and you're going to be abundant in every way. Okay. You're connecting with your soulmate, but you're not going about it in a traditional way. And you're learning how to temper your mind in order to let beautiful emotions guide your way. Okay. It'll bring you to that connection with your lover. Okay, Aquarius, I hope that this was very helpful for you. I enjoyed this very much, this transition. Like starting off strong, gets a little bit but you know what? It's all there. It's all there. And you know exactly what you want. Okay. Let your emotions, beautiful, gentle, calm, delightful emotions guide your path. There's going to be somebody that informs you here. Okay. You're going to get some really great information. It's going to be able to confirm all of this to you. Okay. All right. I love you. Source adores you, and I will see you in your next video.